Ron, thank you. After months of debate, a hotly contested bill to reform the state's area education agencies, or AEAs, is now law after Governor Kim Reynolds signed it this afternoon.
KTVA Iowa Political Director Dave Price was there and has reaction to the new law from the State House.
There were a lot of starts, stops, and discussions in this process, but in the end, Iowa's governor got all but a handful of legislative Republicans to go along with this package. The governor signed the bill in a ceremony surrounded by Republican legislators and some educational leaders. She said afterwards that this is another step in reforming education.
And continue working together to ensure that every Iowa student reaches their greatest potential. It's just something that we can all be very, very proud of, and this is another step in the direction to make that happen.
When you look at the celebration she's having, I want you to think about the families who have so much uncertainty now as they're wondering what will happen to the services in their communities, what will happen to their kids who are getting AEA services. There are so many questions, primarily because the end of this bill was rushed so much that Iowans haven't had an opportunity to weigh in, and when they do weigh in, they hate this bill.
Minority Leader Confer says Democrats wanted the teacher pay part of this, but they wanted it separate. They do not believe this AEA reform will truly help students learn better. At the Iowa State House, I'm Dave Price.